Hi, my name's Tanya Swift and I'd like to talk to you about brain development. Now, when babies are born, their brains aren't fully developed, and even though genes are intrinsic to the development of their brain, they also need a lot of enriching experiences in the early years, particularly the first 2 years, but the whole early years, to really help them develop their brains a lot. Now, when I talk about enriching experiences, I mean touch, communication with those close to them, good nutrition, and a lot of movement and play and exploration of different environments. So I'm going to talk a lot about that, how babies and young children need a lot of movement and play in order for their brains to develop as much as they possibly can. Now, I'd like to cover two areas. The one is how scientists have found what they call windows of opportunity. Now, what they mean is in the early years, the different parts of the brain develop to their optimum at different times in the early years. So there'll be a time when a child's language acquisition will be developed to its optimum, so on and so forth. So these windows of opportunity are little times in the early years where the brain will develop to its optimum. Obviously, we can still develop those parts of the brain, but these windows of opportunity are gold dust. And, we have a thing, use it or lose it. So if the synapses of the brain in the early years aren't used, they just disappear. They get, I'm not going to get too much into the science part of it, but we need to make sure that these synapses are fired, and these windows of opportunity are even more important, that these synapses in the brain are fired. So as we are not scientists, we do need to make sure that we give children lots of opportunity to be active and to explore the environment, and a wide variety of activities and a wide variety of environments. You will hear me talk and go on and on and on about enriching environments and different environments, but it's actually important for a child to really have the choice of different things to explore, places to explore, things to do, experiment with different things with their bodies. So always providing young children with planned activities is not always what they need. They need to explore the environment. They need to try different things. They need to, be excited by where they are. And that leads me on to the second thing I want to talk about, and that's about the brain hemispheres. So when a baby's born, the left and the right hemisphere of the brain does not communicate. They don't communicate. So we need to help them develop the communication between the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. Now, you will probably ask why we need that. Now, we need that in order to coordinate the left and right hand side of our bodies. So if you have to write, if a child starts school, this will impact on their school readiness, because if they can't actually cross over and communicate the left to the right, then they're going to struggle with writing. And doing activities where silly things like throwing a ball and then hitting it, they need to be able to do that. Buttoning up their jackets. There's a lot of things that a child needs where the left and right hemisphere of the brain need to communicate. There's so much more. I'm just sticking to the basics. So we could provide them activities where they need to cross the body, or where they need to coordinate the two sides. You will find young babies can't necessarily clap very well because they're still developing their bilateral coordination. But going back to what I was saying, actually, the more a child gets to run free and be active on their own and explore different exciting environments, the more they will naturally develop the left and the right hemisphere of the brain communication. So if a child starts formal education and they haven't had enough opportunity to be active, you will find they're potentially going to struggle with quite a lot of things, including writing. Now, if a child's struggling with writing, the worst thing we could do is actually try and force them to write more. It means they need more activity. It's almost counterintuitive, but it's what they need. And there's a lot of reasons that'll stop a child or impact on a child's school readiness, be it writing, mathematics, etc., etc. But just going back to the whole writing thing, you will find if you have a group of children and there's some children who are struggling to write, if you tried getting them walking downstairs, you could see, so us adults, when we walk downstairs, we take one step, the next step, the next step, the next step. Whereas the little ones, they take one step, next step, next step, next step. And this is not always the case, but usually there's a correlation between if a child is going to school and they're still going downstairs like a little one, there's a good chance their writing is not going to be ideal either. Like I say, there's other outside influences, there's other reasons why they might be struggling with writing, but more often than not, this is you'll see a correlation. Just an interesting little thing to try. So obviously we have to discount any physical conditions, medical conditions, because that will impact on children's school readiness and children's ability to do various physical activities. However, even it doesn't matter what the children's physical ability is, we want to make sure that they have as much activity as they possibly can, because this will really give them a good start in life, and it'll really impact on their education, on so many other things. So that's a very simplified way of looking at brain development in the early years and how physical activity impacts on it. But I really felt that it was really important to cover this. I actually have written a book called Learning Through Movement and Active Play in the Early Years, because I really wanted people to understand how being active is not just about health and the body, weight, etc. It's about actual brain development and communication and language. It's so much more. So I just wanted to cover those two areas, the brain hemispheres and the windows of opportunity. If you'd like to know more, please have a look at my website or get in touch anytime. Hope you found it useful, and thank you for listening.